where Nigeria has turned to a killing fields, and people are so very, very unhappy with the situation. Of course, we have a government in place, and government is saying they are on top of the game and they are doing everything to get us out. And but just how much and how far have they done? Kidnapping, banditry, and all of that. Nationalities too within the Nigerian context, on each other, and of course, it's just there. The economy. With COVID-19 again coming to take its toll on some people say bad-shaped economy. With COVID-19 again playing on it. Health security, how far have we been on it? And Nigeria as a whole, is this, the country of our dreams? And just how far have we come with it? So much to say about Nigeria and all that is playing out. But sharing thoughts with me this morning, I have Matthias Sadu with me in the studios. He's the convener of Hope Platform Initiative, and he's also a young statesman and a public affairs analyst. Together, we'll be looking at Nigeria, 21 years of uninterrupted democracies, promises that were made, El Dorado that we also wanted. But again, here we are with Nigeria today. Matthias Sadu, good morning. Glad to have you here with us.
Thank you, Mr. Twain, and happy Democracy Day, and then happy anniversary, 21 years of uninterrupted democracy in the country. I think, yes, we've come thus far. And the question you ask on the streets of Nigeria, what exactly is currently going on? Is Nigeria better off? Are Nigerians happier? Are the promises being made to Nigerian people, has it been kept? Are the life of the Nigerians on the streets of this country, has it improved in any way? What exactly is the feelers out there? How is your own life as an individual too? Because the fact that you're a journalist does not mean that you don't go to the market. The fact that you're a journalist does not mean that you don't have needs, you don't go to hospitals, you don't travel. So how has your own life also been? The general feeling that you have outside there is that we have the life of an average person in the country has the livelihood and everything that we represent. The hopes of the people have been dashed, and we are retrogressing as a society. And I want to be very, very blunt this morning and tell you that even the achievements that was recorded for the 16 years of other governments before the coming of President Boris, a lot seems to be reversed. And I want to start by bringing out certain data out for us, for the listener, to understand why I'm a bit upset. Not a bit upset, I'm upset with the situation in the country today. When this government came into power on the 31st of March in 2015, when President Boris was already president-elect, the total debt profile of Nigeria was 12 trillion. As at the last time I checked, the debt profile of Nigeria is 34 trillion. When this government came into power, the exchange rate of naira to dollar was 197 naira to a dollar. As we speak today, it is within the range of 420, 430. CBN rate 380. CBN, we know that is not even what businesses get. When this government came into power, the unemployment rate was about 10 to 12%. As we speak now, it is about 30%. When this government came into power, there was UWIN that was giving money to young people. And even though I didn't subscribe to a lot of things that government was doing, there was UWIN that was giving money to people. Some businesses survived. Some of them employed young people to work with them. As such, today, as we speak currently, youth unemployment is over 20% in Nigeria. So really, if you look at it, what is the hope for the common man on the streets of Nigeria when you cannot finish from university or from a higher institution in Nigeria and walk into any organization and apply and get a job.
It wasn't even that so, in the last administration, Matthias.
No, I said, okay, so we had promises. I remember even as we speak on the website of APC, it is still there, except if they are taking down the website, that they are going to create at least 3 million jobs every year. If you multiply 3 million jobs by 5 years, Mr. Toyin, give me the number. You're talking about creating 15 million jobs. If you create 15 million jobs, if every person that you create 15 million, one job for has 4 dependents, multiply 15 million by 4. You are talking about having 60 million people having a comfortable life to live. This is what this is the promise that the people saw. So when we compare these things with when they come up to give us 16 years of PDP, it was not with the waste they saw, the things that the corruption they saw, the blah blah blah, and all the excuses. Nigerian people did not elect these people to give them excuses. Nigerian people did not elect President Buhari to come and recount to them what the former administrations or what governments in the past have done. They recruited him because he said he had solution. He said he has solution to the insecurity situation that we were faced with. And everybody will say, oh yeah, there were bombings here and there. But let me ask you, when there were bombings here and there, how many people were being killed every day? As we speak, just last week, Nigeria lost almost 400 people. 400 killed on the streets of this country. And so when you talk about coming to solve the problem, is that a solution to our problem? What has happened? What is being said? What has the president said? On the 12th of June 2019, when the president stood up there and gave that elusive figure of lifting 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years, I quickly sat down and I did the calculation, and I said that means that every year you are going to be lifting up 10 million people. Because if you are going to lift 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years, you're going to have to lift 10 million people out of poverty every year. Then every month you have to lift 835,000 people out of poverty. As we speak, between June 12th, 2019 and June 12th, 2020, Nigeria have added 9.8 million people in the poverty club. What are we talking about?
Well, the broadcast that we had just recently on June 12th, too, President is saying, 1,000 young ones from every local government, 774 local governments in the country. That
has become the chorus. The chorus is now for the president to come out, to give us numbers, to give us figures, to tell the citizens of this country things he wants to do. When the things that he promised the last time, he has not come up to. Look at that speech of the president for 2020. He didn't make mention once of what he promised in 2019. Why? Why would you come every month, every year, year after year, year after year to give fictitious figures, fictitious promises, unattainable promises to the citizens of this country, and tell them that, I'm doing my best, I'm here, I'm blah, 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 and then once that is done, they repackage the speech of the president to be presented for the next year, and then we continue to get rhetorics upon rhetorics, promises upon promises. I was sitting down with some young people, and they were talking about the promises that politicians make to Nigerian people. As far back as 1979, It has been promises upon promises. A promise green revolution, promise blah blah blah, promise heaven and earth, promise $1 will be equals to £1, promise they are going to create thousands and millions of jobs, they are going to improve the economy, they are going to get corruption, get rid of corruption. Today, as we speak, nothing is on the streets of this country.
But here's one thing, Matthias. The president comes to tell us Nigerians that this is what he wants. I mean, it's a policy that I want to take 100 million youths or Nigerian youths out, of the unemployment market and give them jobs to do. What are we expecting of his lieutenants? I'm talking about the ministers, I'm talking about the ministries, the agencies, the parastatals, and all of that. Just how much have they keyed into what the president wants to achieve?
That's the president's headache. That's his business.
Some people are paid to get the job done.
The president is paid to get the job done. I didn't appoint ministers. I didn't vote for ministers. So if the ministers are not doing well, what should the president supposed to do? Get rid of them. I wrote an article on, I think it was on Thursday, and I asked that, look, Mr. President, get rid of your ministers. Because as a person, as a president, what is expected of you to do is to give directives, give instruction, give vision. Ask your lieutenant and tell them, look, I want to achieve so here and here. How do you get this done? What are the things that you need? What are the tools that you require for you to get this particular job done? I need you to create an enabling environment for industries to thrive in Nigeria. And for this to happen, once this happens, I will need this industry to create at least 1 million jobs. What will it take you? Then the minister goes to go and sit down with his team and come up with a plan and say, Mr. President, based on what you have demanded from my desk, this is it. When I was a banker, all that my MD needs to do was to give an instruction and say a so branch is expected to deliver so profit. You are expected to bring so amount of risk asset. You are expected to bring so amount of liability. You are expected to do this blah 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 and all of that. He will not come down to come and meet every staff. The branch manager take responsibility and then begin to redistribute according to the grade of each staff. If you are a unit head, you are given a responsibility to distribute amongst your unit team. And like that, it cascaded down. Everybody now became part of a driving force to ensure that the budget for a branch is met. What is the president doing? If the lieutenants are not giving the president the required result, what the president has as a vision to achieve, he should get rid of them.
Is anyone lying?
We, the people of this country, did not promise the president that he would be paid his salaries. He is being paid. We did not promise the president that he is going to get the benefit of being the president of Nigeria. He is getting the benefit. So we, the people of this country, what are we getting in return?
Is anyone lying to the president? I mean, we just like the example you made about being a banker and what's expected when the MD comes around. What we're saying is that is someone or anyone lying to the president about the situation of what we have in ministries, in parastatals, in agencies, and all of that? Isn't someone not telling the president the truth? Or, they're just keeping it away from the president?
Is the president...
Why do we have advisors? Why do we have all of them, to keep the president informed about daily happenings in the country?
This is entirely the president's responsibility. If he surrounded himself with people who are going to continue to lie to him, if he surround himself with people who are going to come to be praise singers, if he surround himself with people who are the yes sir, yes ma'am people, then that is his problem, and that is not my headache. As far as I'm concerned, is that the man on the street of Nigeria is complaining that the government of Nigeria is not existing, that the man is responsible for his own electricity, he is responsible for his own security, he is responsible for his own water, education for the children of this country, this nation is not available. Government, every single family, every single household is put under pressure to ensure that they take care of their own children, to ensure that they put barbed wires on their fences. So If the president says, "Oh, I'm not aware, I'm not hearing this, I'm not getting the right information," who is to be blamed? Who appointed the people? And then can the president tell me that he does not get newspapers? He does not get newspaper reviews. He does not get updates. He does not see what happens on television. He does not hear. He cannot even get information from governors that are calling him and telling him that our people are being killed on our streets. He does not get information that Katsina is almost being taken over by bandits. What are we talking about? We're talking about a president of a country, not a king, not an emperor who sits somewhere and just say, "Everybody come and give me information." No, be on your toes. Get if you are not getting the right information from the people that you appointed, get rid of them. And if you don't have the capacity to get rid of them, then you are failed, and will continue to tell the generation upon generations that will come that the administration, the 8 years that Buhari spent in power, was wasted. It was of no use.
That would
to
just
Nigerian people.
that would be a sweeping statement there, because it's not to say that the country is not working or that.
What? Which country is working? Which country? This Nigeria that we speak, we are sitting in today, is it working in your eyes? Is it working? No, let's ask. We can.
But nobody is just
viewers to
sitting there
give us
and not
feedback.
doing anything. People are working, and we government is talking. It does, but how much they have worked the talk is what we might just be questioning now.
Let me just tell you this. If the president of this country was appointed as the CEO of a conglomerate that you own, and all he comes to tell you is that I'm doing my best for the past 5 years, and he has been posting loss, would you say, "Oh yeah, you are doing your best"? Would you say, "Oh, you are working"? Well, you just see men in the branch of a bank and they say, "Oh, we are running." The branch staff are running
the analogy there might not just be for working for a country. I mean, it's not a conglomerate. It's a country.
Let me tell you one very interesting thing, that a nation is similar to a conglomerate. What we'll find as a difference is the fact that, we're not talking about you posting profit. The profit to me as a citizen of this country is that the road to my house should be tarred, that the streets should be secure, that the profit to me is that I should be able to turn on the tap in my house and the water should come up. I should put on a switch and light should come. That is the profit. That is what you compare to a conglomerate. Now, for that to happen, Mr. Toyin, what you need is a CEO who is functioning. If you don't have a CEO who is functioning, you're not going to get result. And that is what we are talking about. We need a CEO.
Are you living out the clogs? That might, just refuse to allow the wheel to go. Because from where we're coming, it has not been a smooth sail for Nigeria with all so many problems.
Let's even get to the clogs. 2015. When Bukola Saraki manipulated his way and became the Senate president, and Yakubu Dogara, the Speaker of House of Representatives, the presidency complained and said they were not able to work because of what? Because the people that were in the legislature were anti whatever they represent.
The Ninth Assembly.
The
Eighth Assembly.
Yes. Now, when we are complaining about the president as early as when the government was formed, a lot of people, the supporters of this government, were saying, "Matthias, be patient. This government has just come on board. Blah 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 blah." That excuse has expired. This is the 6th year now we have entered. The excuse of not having harmonious working relationship with the legislature has expired, because the president now has his own men doing the job in the National Assembly. The president also now has the judiciary, everything that is required for the president to do whatever it was that was driving him, that was making him to cry those days, that was making him to promise Nigerian people everything that is required is at the desk of the president. He took his
It's not a national, it's not a gullible assembly that we have. I hope you're not looking at it that way. There is just not yes men that are there.
If there are no yes men, I mean, let's not even waste our time, because you and I know that what you have at the National Assembly today does not even have the capacity to confront the presidency, to question them. So forget about it. They are negotiating their 37 billion so that they can renovate their building, that they renovate their pockets and buy their expensive cars and takes girls out, that what they do in Abuja with our money.
That's sweeping. You cannot be allowed to go here. I mean, what you hear, what you read.
Let's assume that that particular statement is out of context, but can you say that the 37 billion naira that is being negotiated is out of context? Can you say that
it's for work?
Billions that are being negotiated to buy cars for members of National Assembly, is that out of context? Are you going to tell me that the citizens of this country are enjoying the same benefit with the people that we sent forward to go and represent us? These are questions. These are tough questions.
Begging for answers.
The citizens of this country are only asking our leaders to be responsible enough to say, look, I will prioritize health care. I will prioritize education. I will prioritize security. I will prioritize youth employment be above my own personal comfort as a member of House of Representatives. I told you when the budget of consolidation, or whatever it was called, was signed and was supposed to be implemented in 2020. I came here and I told you that they had budgeted 123 million to buy kitchen utensils in the presidency. This same government, Mr. Toyin, this is not fair. This is not nice. It's not what Nigerians asked this government to give them.
The program is Perspectives this morning, coming to you on Invicta 98.9. And we're looking at 21 years of uninterrupted democracy. Where are we with Nigeria, and how is Nigeria standing? We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the program.
Invicta FM.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Are you serious? For real, are you serious? Invicta FM. Yeah. Today's hit music.
Invicta
FM.
Welcome back. Is the program Perspectives this morning, and reaching you on Invicta 98.9. And we're looking at Nigeria today. 21 years of uninterrupted democracy, and how far we've come with Nigeria. Where is Nigeria standing today? And how can we come out boldly to say that we're proud to be Nigerians? And the question again, Matthias, my question this time would be, are we tired of talking? And if we're not tired of talking, are we still talking? The situation is on the ground that Nigerians, are just, being nonchalant about what is playing out. He who knows it feels it. The people of Borno, with the killings that happened there, feel the pain. The bandits, ravaging all over, the north. And the people that are hit feel the pain. And so they know it. But we have a situation where in some parts of the country, it's just as if it's their business. It's a business of all. Because again, we are all in this country. And I'm worried that we're all laid back about it. what the dangers could be about not, taking a stance about where Nigeria is, what Nigeria, is going through, and the dangers that lies ahead. Concerns of citizens. And this is where I bring you again to this issue of our democracy. Some people have said, very expensive presidential system that we're going through with a president, a deputy, a governor, deputy, advisors of all sorts, ministers, running, all through the 36 states of the Federation, that we're running it so large and so expensive. And so it makes it even difficult for people to reach out, for government to reach out to people to give them dividends of democracy. All of this, some analysts would say, is playing out to shortchanging the Nigerian from, getting the benefits of democracy. Coming so large with what we have, and some people have at this time been asking for a bicameral, system of government. So with what we have on the ground, everybody wants to grab. And because everybody wants to grab, it may not and cannot reach out to the people. Is this so much of an expensive democracy that we were practicing and denying us the dividends of democracy?
I think it's not so much about the numbers that we have. It's about what gets to these people and how the system
let me just quickly put in. I'm talking about, for example, the National Assembly. And we just talked about the 37 billion naira that they're asking for renovation or, to buy them what to keep them going. These are people that were picked from the people, to go and represent them. But they've turned out to be selective and, they just care about their numbers. All of this, for all they're asking and for what they want to do with all they're asking, how representatives are, how representatives are they?
Well, I think if you look at the Nigerian system, someone said something somewhere and said that Nigerian is a crime scene or a cartel that is being run by criminals, and every single person on the street is
not fair. That can never be fair.
Let me finish up so you understand where I'm going.
No,
I will explain. I will explain, and it makes a lot of sense. So you have a set of criminals in power.
I will not accept that.
And you have a set of people.
I will take exception to that.
Okay, so you have a set of people who are looting the system, looting the government, looting the people, and then you have people who are waiting to loot. So you have majority of people who are planning to get into power simply to go and take over. That, okay, it was Jeremiah's turn yesterday. He has stolen enough. It is my turn today to go and steal. This is basically why I say it's a criminal enterprise, because everybody just want to go in there. Majority of people that go into Nigerian political space simply go in there because of their belly.
Some people go there to genuinely serve the people. I mean, that's basic with what we have.
Sadly, you can see that a lot of people might go in with the genuine intention of serving the people, serving the society, but oftentimes they get overwhelmed by the system. They get consumed by the system, and then they become part of the system, and unfortunately becomes a bigger problem than even the systems we're trying to fight. Now, so do we have an expensive government system? Well, yes, but do we have an unaffordable government system? No. We have a system where the president's salary, I think, is about 14 point something million or thereabout. So if that is it, we have CEOs of certain organizations in this country that takes up to 100 and something million, and their organizations are running the things in the society. They are still profitable. So what one would say is that you have a people who are so used to taking that they don't understand creating. So because we go into this place and everybody just go and see the so-called national cake, and everyone just want to eat out of it. But there is nobody in the kitchen who is baking the cake. There's nobody who is cultivating the crops that are going to bring the flour for the people to bake. So you just have people that are cake eaters as leaders of the country. And once that happens, you're not going to be able to produce anything. We have a system that is all about consuming, whether it's at the political level or it's at the ordinary citizen level. Because if you don't have a productive economy, if you don't have a productive citizenry, if you don't have a society that is able to put its effort, I've made this analogy several times, and I will say it here, that a lot of things that we have as a problem in this country are also to us a solution. Why do I say this? You have a problem of infrastructural development. How was Israel built? Was Israel built by Chinese? Was Israel built by Italians? Was Israel built by Mexicans? How was Singapore built? Was it built by Nigerians? Was it built by Malaysians? No, it was built by Singaporeans. Israel was built by Israelites. US was built by Americans. Nigeria has to be built by Nigerians. And how do I mean? If you have millions of young people roaming around the street of your country, what stops you from making them to go and lay, even if it's asphalt, or go and lay ties on roads, and they get become productive? What stops you from having company? I've always say this anytime I'm here. What stops us from having companies that are going to produce chocolate in our country? Somebody's, I think it was a DG of one of the parastatals a couple of weeks ago, was being interviewed by the members in the House of Representatives, and he said they have developed a technology to improve on kilishi packaging and what have you. And Nigerians were laughing at it, and I said, no, don't laugh at such kind of little insignificant thing. If it is properly packaged, I wouldn't mind that I'm watching CNN and I'm seeing Nigeria kilishi being marketed, being being displayed to the rest of the world, and we are getting orders from every part of the world and saying Nigeria kilishi is the best kilishi in the whole world. If you make $2 from 2 billion people, we are talking about having at least nothing less than $48 billion every year. Nigeria budget as at today is still 30 something billion dollars, and by these current reductions that they did, I think we are below 30 billion dollars. So what am I saying? We need to get to the point where our leaders become creative, our leaders become problem solvers, not becoming a problem to the society, not having to just go into government for the sake of go and grab. A lot of people running for office in Nigeria, most times I encounter them, I listen to them, and I'm just amazed by the kind of things that they think that they will do to get into government. And the Nigerian people, because we have several years been decimated, we have been bastardized by the military administrations and all sorts of things. We just leave politicians to do whatever they want to do. What I am saying here today, challenging the government, that they should be responsible, that they are our fathers, that they are fathers to the generations to come, they are grandfathers and their ancestors to generations to come, and words will be spoken about them. What I'm saying here today is that they should be responsible. But a lot of Nigerians, a lot of people will find this offensive because they think that we cannot dare to speak to our leaders, because our leaders are more like kings. They are title holders. They are people who sit on big chairs and control the resources that they did not create. So if you don't have a creating government, if you don't have a creative society, if you don't have a creative leader that has something in his brain that sees something out of nothing and is able to bring something out of nothing, you will not be able to have a society that will work. And that is why all that you see is that everybody seeing the country as a cake to be feasted upon, not as a tree to be water for the next generation to benefit from.
Let me come to the divides of this country. The divides we talk about would just be the divide of the north, the south, the east, the west. But again, as we know it, as it's playing out, we have so many divides in this country. We're talking about ethnic groups and
religion,
all of that is playing out. But I take this divide, which is the divide of the north, the insecurity that the north is facing today. From Borno to Niger, to Kaduna, to Sokoto, to Zamfara, and Kaduna, all of it is playing out in the north. And complaints coming out is that you look at the President Muhammadu Buhari, coming for the first time and the second time, that the votes, to put him in power largely came from this divide. And so, some people would say he has a responsibility, like it or not, on this divide, because yes, he got it. We're humans, and so must pay attention to what is happening there. The killing fields of the north is what some people say unacceptable with how much the north has given to the president. Again, what we hear is that they're saying that change the service chiefs. They've done just enough. Change them, and let's see a new thing coming about. Security service chiefs to this country. But again, we're getting lip service to the issues of security, and we're beginning to ask the question: when it gets to a situation where they're burning, the posters of the president, that's not saying it well here.
Yeah. So it's that captures the mindset on the streets of Nigeria. I remember sitting at the Barbing Saloon at some point, and analysis were being made. That was at early 2015 when the president was fresh, was like hot cake and then the body language was doing a lot of things, and everybody was. So I was more of saying I'm not comfortable with the body language economic policy because it is not where in a book and yes, of course, you can have something that is out of the book kind of experience and would work, but I don't see that working. Now, my brother, the situation in the north, the insecurity, the failure has gotten to the point of frustration. I saw the statement of the Northern Elders Forum saying that the president has failed, and it's not only that the president has failed the north, the president has failed the entire country. And the fact that we are here and we are experiencing these things here with our own eyes, we are not being told that it's the people are taken to the streets in Katsina. We are not being told that people are being killed in southern Kaduna. We are seeing them. I have an experience of a friend that had to abandon his own house and move to go and rent a house because where he was staying, kidnappers they took over the place, and people were being kidnapped every day. It was gradually becoming his turn, and he had to leave. So this is the frustration. This is the pain, and particularly for somebody that had so much promise that was given to the people. There was so much excitement, so much expectation, so much hope when President Buhari, especially from the north, when President Buhari was being elected to office. A lot of people thought, oh, we are now having the Messiah. But thank God that everything that the president had promised the people, that the El Dorado and all the expectations of the people, that it did not go away as the best president we never had. But the president that we have seen today has become one of the worst things that have happened to this country, particularly to the northern part. And I saw the statement of Femi Adesina saying the so-called northern elders, the generals without troops. Look, we are so tired of such kind of things. What we want to hear is the solution to the problems. But do they have the capacity to solve the problems of this country? I think that what has played out clearly is that the president does not have the control. When I recommended that the president should sack not just his service chief, but the entire cabinet, simply because if you do that, you can give room for certain kind of restructuring, certain kind of hope rising, certain kind of expectation. And there are huge number of brilliant Nigerians all around the world that are doing very well. The president does not need an re-election in 2023. It is time for the president to act. Sack all your ministers. Bring technocrats to come and run your government. Give them tasks, give them target, give them responsibility, and tell them, I need you to deliver this within the next couple of years.
Okay, Matthias. And then it will just be, do we still have hope for a better, better situation that we have?
Myself, she, him, you are the hope. The young people of this country, the enterprising young people on the streets of Nigeria, the beautiful young people that I see running around trying to meet up with their daily responsibility despite the failures of this government, despite the failures of several governments in the past. They are the hope that are keeping this country. If not, sincerely speaking, around our political leaders, around those so-called elder statesmen, the replacement is the young statesman.
Okay, let's go to the audience now and just get your feelings on the 21 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria, where Nigeria is today, where she can be, and what needs to be done. Numbers to call to be part of this program: 081 40 989, 081 40 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989.
Good morning, Mr.
Taking your calls now. Hello, good morning. Quickly.
Good morning to your guest. You're on to Engineer Emmanuel.
Engineer Emmanuel, yeah.
Yeah, your guests have spoken very, very well. I appreciate every bit of the analysis he has done this morning. You see, I was expecting when this administration came on board with the mantras of change, it will be different from the former administration. But unfortunately, it was not what I was expecting. Rather, the other way around. Now, if you came in the mantras of changing things, and now you are doing things worse than the other administration, where is the change? Now, he talked about the kitchen intensive for budget. Every year, they keep on budgeting some billions of naira for kitchen cabinet and also rub this thing. And we have not seen that transparent in that thing. And you say you want to change things. Now, look at the way things, the insecurity that you came in with. Now, this morning, when we heard on the news that the Northern Elder say he has disappointed them woefully in terms of security, it's obvious. And despite the fact that the appointment of the security chiefs, most of the appointment is from the north. So we're expecting better, but it keeps getting worse by the day. So I think it's obvious that this administration did not keep their promises in securing life and property of the citizens.
Okay,
so
Engineer Emmanuel, we got you on that.
Resign.
We got you on that. Just taking another call, squeezing another call.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tony Alabi.
Good morning.
I was calling you from Malali, Kaduna.
Piles.
Your guest has spoken very well. And now we have a project to embark on. What is that project? The project is Nigeria. All of us, we just have to come together and put this country forward in order to solve the problem of this country. What I was expecting from this administration when they came on board, it was to just strengthen our own institutions. All the institutions, to strengthen them, not individual. You have to concentrate on ethnicity or your own religion, which is out of the game. Because as I used to say, that the only common factor that connects every Nigerian together is the economy. First, second, economy, third, economy. Apart from that, religion is a personal decision. So, because your religion and my religion is you that is going to serve on the last day. But on earth here, our own resources, our own economy is the one that is connecting us. But what are we seeing today? It is only some few individuals that have come everything into their own pockets. Is that how we are going to continue? Let me just, before I go, let me just say, please, let's stop laying emphasis on political party. Let us know how we are going to strengthen our own institution so that whosoever that comes, he will continue. Because we are not going to continue
Okay,
that.
Piles.
We are getting under
Piles,
28.
that's
We are
what
not
we can
getting
take.
longer and longer.
That
And
will just
nothing is
be
working.
the much we can take
Good
from you,
morning, Nigeria.
Piles. Okay, we got you on that. Matthias Sadu, Engineer Emmanuel, and Piles. But we're just looking at it. Engineer Emmanuel talked about so much budgeting, and this time I will be adding to it the borrowing that we've done so much.
Certainly.
Nigeria, that reading, as some people would say, how's the borrowings reflected on the lives of Nigerians? And again, Piles talking about seeing Nigeria as a project where we all must come together.
Well, I think the truth about this whole thing is that we have seen, we have been promised a lot. We've been promised so many beautiful things by politicians, and they have failed. And sometimes when even people like me get out there and I'm speaking to people, a lot of people are forced to doubt what I'm saying because they categorize me to be part of the political class. It's sad that the words of Nigerian politician is not worth the air that comes out with it. Every single thing that majority of them say, once you hear them, it is just natural. The trust deficit has so much, increased that. The people don't take anything. I was talking about the president's speech a couple of days ago, and the majority of Nigerians just look. I don't bother to listen anymore. I don't listen. I don't hear. I don't want to hear what he's saying. They are all liar, blah blah blah, and all of that. Yes, and that is the truth. This is how an ordinary Nigerian feels. A young child in my house, when woke up in the morning of 12th of June, and she tuned in the television and saw the president, and she said, and just tune it off. This is how bad things are. The girl is barely 9. That's how bad the situation is. So really, where is our hope? You ask that question, and our hope is in ourselves. Timi Dakolo was the one that sang that song and said, we are the only things we have. We are the only things left for this country. You said something about whether we should stop talking. And I think we must intensify our conversation. We must continue to talk to ourselves. We must continue to give people hope that, look, you are the hope. I don't mind. People say, you contested for president in 2019 and you are, they look at some of us and say, because we could not come together, work together, that's where we're having this problem and all of that. And I say, we can still come together. We can still have a working relationship with every tribe in this country, because we are not divided by hunger. We are not divided by illness. When COVID-19 came, it did not stop in Lagos. It did not stop in Kano. It did not stop with Yoruba. It did not stop with Hausa. It affected everybody. We, the Nigerian people, must first take the responsibility of holding our leaders to account. That is number one. We must hold them to account. We must tell them to their faces when we see that they have failed. We must confront them. That is number one responsibility. Number two, we must take the civic duty of voting more serious than we have ever before, because like you mentioned earlier on, the danger of doing nothing is that this country has the capacity to collapse, and once that happens, you can only imagine the consequences.
And that will just be about the size of it on Perspectives today. Matthias Sadu, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tony, for having me.
Yes, and that was Matthias Sadu, convener of Hope Platform Initiative and young statesman, public affairs analyst too, giving his thoughts to Nigeria at 21. We'll come back with Perspectives tomorrow, same time, same station. Dorcas, thank you for connecting us with the people. And Wisdom, thank you for putting us in the pictures. Good morning.
Invicta FM. You're listening to Invicta 98.9.
We play R&B, jazz, reggae, hip-hop, inspirational talk, and gospel radio. We rule the air.
Invicta FM.